And we are live, guys. Welcome back for the second part of the workshop for the chain abstraction hackathon. Ongoing. It just started January 8th, ongoing to the end of the month. I have special guest James, and I'm gonna hopefully say it right. I think it's eFiz. You're on mute just in case. They're gonna show us how to run decentralized front ends. It's gonna be great. I'm not gonna take over the show. I'm gonna have the guys introduce themselves and then take over, guys. Go for it.
Cool. Well, thanks for having us. We really appreciate the opportunity to collab with Developer DAO. And I'm going to briefly introduce where we're coming from, and then Elliot's going to take it away with an awesome workshop about development on the blockchain operating system or the open web stack. You can see my screen, I guess it's coming up right now.
There we go.
Cool. So we're here from an organization called Build DAO, which is a support system for builders, helping builders. We're empowering builders in a multi-chain ecosystem, and we're using Near to help with the front ends with the blockchain operating system. And that's how we are approaching this abstraction hacks. We're supporting builders who are attacking the boss challenge and pretty much anything else too. And we're here to support anyone who is building. So that's kind of our motivation here, is just learning together and finding ways to help anyone who needs it. And we're talking about abstraction hacks. So I'll just quickly review. We've got this hackathon started January 8th all the way till the 28th later this month. And there's a bunch of ideas for use cases of chain abstraction or account abstraction, really all kinds of abstraction. You can see the calendar at abstracting.org, links in the video description, I believe. And there's a lot of resources here. So thanks to all the sponsors. There's FAQ and ideas. So definitely check out some of the ideas and find one of them that piques your interest. And I'm just going to quickly go through a little bit of introduction to the blockchain operating system. So what we're talking about here is a common ground for all open web experiences. It's not just projects building on Near. You can build on any blockchain and use Near for these composable on-chain front-end apps. So the application code and JavaScript is actually stored on Near in a special contract we call the social database. And you'll learn more about that in the workshop. But briefly, just reviewing some of the problems that are solved by the blockchain operating system, especially in the middle, the overlap between Web 2 and Web 3. I would emphasize that we're making it easier to build anything. So reducing the complexity of your typical decentralized application development. And we're talking about fully decentralized solutions because it's not just the back end or a smart contract, it's actually the front end too, being on chain. And this results in benefits, namely accessibility, security, and most importantly, composability. So just like you can piece together money Legos in DeFi, or the smart contract layer is composable. Now the front end, or JavaScript code, React code is composable in the same way. So you don't have to install anything or download something. You don't have to manage dependencies the same way. You just point to somebody else's code and you get it automatically immediately in your app. So we'll demonstrate that in a bit. But here are what I call the 5 aha moments of the boss. First one is really straightforward. We've already touched on it. It's making it easier to build anything on chain. It's not just for even crypto applications. It could be a website. It could be anything. So we're talking about kind of a WordPress or Squarespace equivalent for decentralized applications. And like I said, the JavaScript code is stored and hosted in a special contract. It lives at social.near. It's called the social database, or Near Social. And it was originally made for near.social, which is the front end of that gateway, which is your access point to all things Boss. And now we have many more gateways since that original deployment. And going further, these decentralized applications are accessible across gateways. So different domains like near.org, near.social, these are, just portals to the code that is on chain. So you can have your application be accessible anywhere that is connected to the blockchain operating system. And that's really cool. But even further, you can have multi-chain experiences or chain agnostic experiences where you build one front end and it can be used across uh, all the layer twos and Ethereum plus near, Solana, potentially Bitcoin, other blockchains as well. So this is one of the aha moments, just knowing that you can build on Ethereum using near. And finally, everyone builds everything together. That's the takeaway. So we're using this platform to build better and faster, stronger, and really just take this open web or Web3 concept to the next level. Making it a lot more useful, and that's because of the reusability of these components, and they're building blocks for anyone to use. So get involved, contribute, and make something cool. Elliot's going to show you how, and we're very excited to collaborate. So just reach out if you have any questions. We're able to support. You can find us at nearbuilders.org, and we're happy to connect directly after this. Take it away, Elliot.
Just really quick before you get started, Elliot, I'm going to say that anybody asking or anybody watching the YouTube, ask questions. We can repost it right onto the YouTube stream, and we can answer it live as well. I just posted the nearbuilders.org link on the YouTube, so go for it. Go for it.
Cool. Let me start sharing my screen. Cool. Can you guys tell me when you see it?
I see it just a little bit small. Can we get a little bit bigger?
Yeah, about something like that.
Yes, perfect.
Cool. All right. What's up, everybody? My name is Elliot. I work on everything. We'll talk a little bit about that. James gave a really good introduction to what Boss is in a nutshell, but I'll give you a little bit of tour. And I'm sure that there's a lot of new developers here that are not aware of the Near Social ecosystem. And I think it's pretty cool. So you're in for a treat. So this is Near Social, which is built on Near. It uses a lot of the really cool capabilities of Near, and it really demonstrates the possibilities of chain abstraction. It's like our social media, but the cool thing about it is that every piece of it is a widget. So you can actually come up to the top right corner, and you can view the source code of the entire page. This is what is the source code of the main page. And then we can come over, we can fork a component. You can preview it. You can see that here it is on the front, on the right. This is the whole Near Social front page. We can come over and we can remove an option. It said premium right here. It says premium right here. We can preview it. I just changed it. I can save now my version. I already have my version. It's always the same. But we can save my version of the homepage. And then, for example, so my homepage just has the hashtag dev on it. And then if I go to ephys.near/widget_n at the end of Near Social, that's my social feed that I just built. Just did that in under a minute. You can pretty much build anything and everything on Near Social by just forking other people's widgets. And since this is an Ethereum crowd, one thing that we can do is we can also do chain abstraction. So this is an example of the Lido component, which connects to all the, you're able to connect with your MetaMask. It's all easy to incorporate. Ethers is provided to all this widget code, this code that is stored on in the social.near contract, and then it's pulled into the VM, it's interpreted, and then it's shown on the screen, rendered on your page. And it's super easy to incorporate. See, it's just ethers.provider. There's a button in here, and you're able to just build applications that connect to your MetaMask, and you can sign transactions. This one's really cool because you can change the different networks that you connect to. But anyways, another topic that James kind of talked about is this concept of gateways, where you create this code. This code is stored on chain, and then you have like all these different gateways that can view and render the same widget. So I'm on near-social/zavadil.near/widget/lido, which is pretty much like the path in the operating system where this code is stored. But I can also go to another gateway like near.org. It loads here. I can go to another gateway like nearbuilders.org, which is the gateway that we said earlier for BuildDAO. There it goes. Renders on whole other different websites. There's all it is that these websites just kind of share this common library that is near social VM, which holds this interpreter that pulls in the code and renders it. But I want to talk today about everything.dev, which is a project that we're all building together. So you can also load it here. And yeah, you can pretty much build anything. So there's a lot to talk about, and that's why it's called everything. Because you really can build anything and everything with these concepts. And the technology is honestly, it's maturing so much, and it's also so young, and there's just so much potential and opportunity in so many different ways. It's really exciting, and I hope that as you guys watch this, what I'm going to go through, I hope that you get inspired to start building more. So everything I'm going to show you, this is a project that is built in collaboration through BuildDAO. Anything that you see is an opportunity to come in here, start building on it right away. You can fork it, you can use it in your own applications. There are GitHub repositories, whatever. We can all just like collaborate and build this together. So for example, we have this BuildDAO homepage built by James, wearing the construction hat. He's a really good builder. It has all these different elements of the near social page, but it's curated, and it has a lot of really unique. It curates a lot of like really good widgets together. You can also see every widget that is being developed on the boss right now. And I also want to emphasize that a lot of stuff like looks really bad. I'm no designer. A whole lot of us aren't designers. We're just builders. But I hope that you guys see this as an opportunity to like come in and we can actually like design and make it look awesome. But we have right now, there's 1,028 pages of widgets that people are building. People are building as we speak right now, happening within the last minute. But let me talk to you a little bit about like near social and what's actually happening behind the scenes.
Really quick to jump in, part of the hackathon is a widget considered a bounty for a hackathon?
100%.
And so just to recap this is kind of like working on got Wix or something. So now you have all these components that you just drag and drop and basically build your own personal website. So you don't really have to be theoretically a developer. Can you just drag and drop and then make your site available?
So the drag and drop capability doesn't exist yet, and that's just because nobody has like put in the time to make it. But that is 100% capable. In a way, I would almost say it's like Wix, but like with a lot more freedom, because you really can do anything and you can mix and match like as much as you want. I think that we can go beyond just dragging and dropping. We can make it even cooler. Really exciting.
Hackathon idea.
Yeah, right.
You know, it's different than Wix too, because you only have to pay a few pennies or, you know, pretty much nothing, just fees on Near to deploy, and it lasts forever. So you don't have to worry about paying, you know, that fee that Wix charges. And, you know, it is a lot more open. So you can use other people's, you know, versions or their sites that are being created. So you're not limited to what you build. And yeah, I would also say for the hackathon, there's $1,000 prize for boss components. So anything that is a boss component is eligible for that. And anything that is a boss component is eligible for the main prize, which is 5,000. So it's an example of chain abstraction. And it's helpful to think about multi-chain use cases, or, you know, some of these chain agnostic front ends. that definitely makes it more relevant. But it's going to be eligible if it's on the boss.
Nice. And then and I might be jumping the gun here, but like I definitely have to pick up some near in order to be able to publish my site, right? So are we going to be covering to that day, or is that like another workshop that they should reach out or get that up and running?
Yeah, so we can help you with that. It's part of the topic of the hackathon. Really is account abstraction. So you're making it easier to get onboarded. We use a product called KeyPalm. So that leverages the unique account model of Near to facilitate onboarding and other use cases. And that's how we typically get people onboarded. I usually send people to the Near Week onboarding flow, because then you'll be subscribed to the main like official newsletter of Near, and you'll get a free account and some Near to play around with. And if you let us know, we can get you anything else you need to cover all that widget saving you'll do. But it's really fractions of a Near that you're using.
Yeah, nice. And now if they sign up for the the abstraction hackathon, will those links be provided once they are verified to do the hackathon, or is that something they'll have to like reach in a little bit, like reach out to you on the Discord?
Yeah, it's not automatic because we get bots and
Right,
stuff. But if you get into our Telegram or reach out directly on chain, we can make that happen, and we can build a flow. We're actually hacking on this now for the nearbuilders.org gateway to integrate KeyPalm and make that a little smoother.
Awesome. All right. Sorry to pivot on that, but keep going. I just had a couple questions.
No, that was great. So I just shared the link in the chat that James was talking about, shard.dog/nearweek. You can go on it. You can create a wallet, claim some Near. You can start building right away. And yeah, honestly, that in itself is abstraction, account abstraction. It takes advantage of that model. I'll let you guys find out for yourself. But okay, so I wanted to show this though, really quick, because I think that this is a really like core piece to the whole puzzle. So you can think of Near we call it the blockchain operating system. And I like that because it really is an operating system in my head. Like you have your own file system, like you have your own account and you are managing the data that is stored underneath your file system. So all these like widgets that we've been showing, like they're here, and it's also kind of cool because the data can render itself. So we can this is a widget that runs a camera, and you don't really know anything else about the widget besides the code that's in the widget. And here we're able to render it as if it's a file in a way. But this is the whole model. You have your profile data, so it's attached to your Near account. Part of abstraction is connecting your Near account to other blockchains. So this profile data is readily available. And there's a lot of other things that you can explore. But you can explore your own tree if you go to everything.dev/page/tree, and you log in at the bottom. So, for example, I can let's do this. You can also pretend to be other people, so to see what their data looks like. So if I log in as James, I thought that would change, but I guess it didn't. I can look at James's data as well, since it's all public on the blockchain. Okay, so we can keep on going. There's opportunity for creating search, create pretty much a on-chain Notion in a way, calendar and events. All this code is stored on chain. This one, I want you guys to notice how this code is not found, and I'm going to demonstrate something in a bit on how you can start developing locally. So you have an editor, you have all the hashtags that are on your social, so you can actually hack with this data. For example, if we do hashtag dev, these are all the posts that have hashtag dev in them. You have the Near social homepage. We can hack with maps. This is a tutorial on how to do maps and integrate maps into your own app. If you scroll to the bottom, there's some really cool projects that have been built using maps in this map box. You can build your own marketplaces. This widget is available by Mintbase, which is another project in the Near ecosystem. If you actually come over here and come to page marketplace and you click this black dot in the corner, you can open it up in Jutsu, which is an on-chain online IDE, and it'll open up your code here. So if you don't want to develop locally, you can also just develop in your browser. Let's see, what else? We can talk about feeds and how you can easily just use building blocks to just like put a feed in your own app. And I think that's what the example that we're going to build today is putting a feed onto something. It is an operating system. You have like Voyager, which is this project that's kind of like Finder on your Mac, where you can actually go and you can explore and you can delete files. You have access to Radix, right? I think that's right, Radix. All those UI elements, so you can actually use context menus and stuff like that. You can do video. So here's an application that uses LivePeer custom components. You can use, there's a component library where you can actually build with LivePeer video components and put this in your own application. Hyperfiles, which is a whole nother, it's a whole rabbit hole to go down, but really you can abstract where data is stored. So you can store a reference in the social contract that points to data that could be stored anywhere. It could be stored on IPFS. It could be stored on Ceramic, Verita, or anywhere. You could be your own custom local server and database, as long as you just have that reference that is stored to it. You also you have access to this social graph and how you can actually see the connections between the people that are here, and you can see like the friends that you share. This is another thing that you can hack if you just come onto OpenJutsu, and you can see how you can use D3 to actually build data applications. Plugins, that is a proof of concept that I would love to explore with anybody that's interested. Of course, there are the different feeds that we have. We BuildDAO, we give updates, questions, opportunities. If anybody during this hackathon, if you have a question or anything, feel free to come over here, either through the nearbuilders.org feed gateway, or you can access it here. Opportunity for music. And then one other thing that I want to show, which is this concept of things. So what I've shown a lot is widgets. And widgets is just this code that is stored on chain. But you can abstract away from widgets and you can wrap them in something like a thing, like a JSON that describes an object and then is being fed into this commonly shared widget, so that now you can like have this shared widget code, and all you want to do is you just like can change the template on it. For example, this one, it follows a type, which is like storing your TypeScript types on chain. And then because it follows that type, it is predictable. You can build predictable widgets for it. You can build predictable templates for it. You can edit them. I actually forget which one I'm supposed to use. I remember the template that I usually use for this example, but that's kind of the concept, is that you can abstract even the complexities of code away using the blockchain operating system. But yeah, so any of this, you can come over and you can actually see, feel free to check it out. There's this button down here in the bottom left that if you click one of these, you can actually see the code behind. So this is the code behind the hashtag feed. You can feel free to either open up in Jutsu, or you can click edit to start editing right away. Yeah, that's kind of the first part that I wanted to show. Also, any application you have has notifications built into it. That's based off of the social contract. So you have all these, you have easy integrations with all these social aspects for your own applications. All right. Let's get hacking on something.
Okay, yeah. So let's take a step back for anybody that hasn't come in just yet or like playing catch up on the live stream. So if someone wanted to start building on Near right now, where do they have to go? What do they have to set up?
Cool. Yeah, let's do that. All right, so I would recommend two things. You can either find an existing repository, fork it, clone it, do all that stuff. But if you want to start from scratch, and that's what we're going to do, I'll walk you through that right now. So the first thing to do is to install Create Boss App, which I will share in the chat here. And then you also want something that is called Boss Workspace. We have an open bounty right now to combine the two of these, create Boss App and Boss Workspace. But right now they're still separate. But okay, let's say that we have these two installed. You'll do Create Boss App and then the name of the app that you want to do. So what did I want to do today? Let's do projects. Oops. All right, so we're going to enter in our name of the app that we want, cd into projects. Now here is our code. You'll see inside of it, I have to rename this to .get-ignore. You'll see inside of it, all it is really just a package.json, and then there's a directory called apps, and inside of apps is your app name, a widget directory, and then bossconfig.json. And in bossconfig.json, this is the app account, which is going to be the core account that you're going to be streaming your local widgets from. So you just cd into project. I'm going to install with my favorite package manager.
Can we make the screen a little bit larger so people can see the text? Yeah.
And then we can start developing. So once I do dev, it's going to boot up this local gateway where I can either browse these widgets here. So if I click projects.near/widget/app, that corresponds to this one right here, projects.near/widget/app. Hello. And it has hot reload, so it'll start doing this right away. You can also write your components in TypeScript that is supported, although the syntax is just slightly different. So it's something to get used to. Feel free to reach out. We have resources on what those discrepancies are. But yeah, so you can start developing locally. And it's just like a typical React component, except you're not really doing your imports at the top. You can always assume you have React imported, you have ethers.js imported, you have like Markdown, a couple of libraries that are just always there for you.
Can you increase the size of the VS Code as well so people can see that code? Command plus, Control plus, depending on your upper.
There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So just again to reiterate, just in case there's someone that missed it, you don't have to import ethers. You're just assuming it's already imported, right?
Yeah, you actually don't have to import anything. You don't import anything. So anything that you want to build, you just start building. Yeah. It's typical JavaScript. There's really not that much that's different.
And what are we mapping out right now?
I'm just mapping an array just to show that you can it's just JavaScript, so you can just start building right away. Yeah. But I'm going to actually switch gears to something else to show something, but this is how you start your own project. It's just create boss app, you install npm run dev, and then you're ready to get started in your own local gateway. I'm going to
really quick for Ethereum-based applications, you do need to fetch usually some kind of ABI that you were using in the component, but you don't have to import. You fetch that using the JSON of the ABI.
And just really quick, so okay, usually when I have my front end, I'll have the ABI loaded on my front end. So now you would just fetch the contract address or some kind of object.
You can either just like put it somewhere and get that JSON as like fetching the ABI itself, but that's how you would load it in, and then Ethers JS is available out of the box, so you don't have to import anything from there.
And is it like in the 5.7 or is it in the 6 for Ethers?
I'd have to double check. I
Okay.
assume it's the most recent.
I would assume 5.7. 6 is a little bit kind of funky. So,
yeah, probably the most stable.
Okay, so I'm going to start with a project that I've already been building. I'm just building a text editor that allows you to like have this adapter where you can hook it up with your own module for like, I want to take this data, I can either save it to the social contract, or I can propose it to a DAO, or we can save it anywhere else. It's just this adapter pattern. But something to show is that like, if I come over, I'm using this in a local gateway, but this code that I wrote, it has like some elements inside of it that this local gateway doesn't really know about. But everything.dev gateway does know about these components. We define them in the VM, and we allow them for any widgets inside of the gateway to actually use them. So to solve this, you can, if you're running your own workspace, so you can either use a local gateway, you can run your own gateway, so clone near social viewer, or you can add flags to any existing gateway. So this boss loader is broadcasting its flags at this port. And now, if you remember that widget that was missing before, it's working now, because this code is actually local to me, and I'm streaming it to the gateway. So not this one anymore, we're on this one. So for example, if I'll just demonstrate that this is my code that's local. And I'm manipulating it locally. It's broadcasting the change to everything.gateway. And because it's in everything.dev gateway, or in a specific gateway, I'm able to use the special component, like the Monaco editor or the canvas that was inside of it. Other gateways do support this too. You can go to near.org and do flags, and you can do the same type of thing. Okay. So what I want to do today is we're going to go through some steps, and I kind of want to just demonstrate how easy it is to build, to just put things together and compose your own front end. Right now, this page, it has like this sidebar with this list of apps, and then it has this content in the middle. That is all being defined by this routes object that's right here. Now you can either, you can develop locally, but I'm going to be developing this specific one in your social gateway. You can really do it anywhere. But right here, so we can, for example, we can add a new route to it by just modifying this. And I'm going to add this other component that we have.
Can we make it a little bit larger? It's kind of hard to see on that. I'm gonna get rid of our images too, just to make this a little bit better to see.
Yeah, thanks for pointing it out. So I'm adding a new route at the moment to this JSON. Let me just make sure that it works. I need a bootstrap icon that works. So this is actually a common question that we get. All the components have access to Bootstrap class names, so you can use those as you're developing. Tailwind is not really supported at this moment, although you can. There are like Tailwind isn't supported on the gateway level, but you can import it through a CDN, wrap it around the component that you're building, and then you can access Tailwind. And we're happy to walk through anybody. But I just grabbed a Bootstrap icon really quick. I'm going to pretend to be this account. It's called every.near. And since I have a function call access key with them, every.near has given ephys.near permissions to write data to it. I can actually pretend to be that account, and I can save data on its behalf, acting like I'm them. If you try and pretend to be a account that you do not have permissions granted to, this won't work. But there we go. I can reload this gateway. I can scroll to the bottom. Here's the widget that I just added, and it says Canvas, that you're also happy, you're free to hack on and use Canvas in your own application as well. But for the purpose of this hack, what I think I want to do is I want to, I have this routes object that is being defined here inside of a widget, but I don't really want to do that. I would like to not have to pretend as every.near and sign on its behalf, because I think that's like a little risky in ways. I don't know. I guess it's not risky, but it would just also just be easier if I could just like make a change, save this JSON, and it just updated these routes automatically. So that's going to be the goal. We're going to be working on this editor. We're going to be writing code. And then we're going to be modifying this publish so that I save this routes object to the space that I want. And then I'm going to set it up so that this widget queries that data instead. And this kind of just demonstrates how effective and easy it is to just start building with the social contract right away. You don't really need to set up any database if you don't want to. Okay. All right, so let's do that. So this is the create app. I'm streaming my editor here. This is the application that's running from here. Maybe to talk a little bit about the code, we have a header right here.
Really quick right now. So you use this existing fork. You went into your VS Code, you went into the apps editor in the widget folder, and then in this app.jsx is where you're doing most of your work that you just grab the widget data from, right?
Exactly.
Got it. Right. Okay, so cool.
Cool. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to pretty much put in this JSON, and then I have this publish button that's already set up, but it's obviously saving data kind of wrong. But instead, I want to save this JSON here instead. So inside of here, now it's all super up close. Inside of here, I have this adapter. This is an adapter that just like it defines some common functions, get and create, and it does the implementation that is specific to the data source that you want. Because, so this one is specific to the social contract, which is a API that you have readily available when you're writing code. You can do social.get, social.get. You can do social.set. These are all available to you. to post to the social contract, what I want to do is when I create something, I'm going to have it so that I'm creating let's just give it a hard-coded ID. Routes. And then inside of the social.set, it is this ID. And then I can actually put the data inside that I want. So the editor value, this is the state value that is holding the JSON. I'm going to stringify it. I'm going to go ahead and type this data. So, because that might be helpful down the road. These aren't strict types at the moment. Actually, let's call it an app. I'm going to say through the social API, I'm going to say force true, which just means I'm going to overwrite the data no matter what. And then you can also put in like on commit, which is like this function that after the data is committed, you can you have a callback. We're going to just show the value and then on cancel also show the value. Okay. Now, if I reload, there we go. If I reload, I publish the social DB. That should be closer. So it's going to be publishing to my account underneath this like thing namespace. It really could be any namespace you want. Abstracting out that complexity, and then we have I'm saving it underneath this routes ID, and it looks like my data isn't being pulled through, but I've got this metadata that's going to say that it's of type app. So let's figure out why this object is not actually populating here. So editor value. Oh, it's because it's not editor value. We're calling the create function with v. Looks like we're JSON stringifying it twice, but at least the data is there.
The beauty of live coding, folks.
Also, feel free to ask any questions. I'm almost taking this opportunity just to like do some work that I've been meaning to do.
There you go. This is work in production is the way to go now. So questions. So like every time you update, like a similar to like I feel like it's like a Vercel type of thing. You're building your front end, you want to publish it, you commit to main, but the only difference is there's a small fee on near to publish this. And so when you want to make an edit or change, what happens when you make your change and you make a new update? Like, is it a totally different address? Is it some kind of hash that you have to follow? How does that work?
So you're overwriting the same key each time, and really what you're paying for is just the storage on the social contract. So if we see something like this one, this is like a library of social components, but over here you can actually view the history of it. All these different commits. This is just overriding the same key in storage, but the block height is the commit number. So the block height on November 3rd, this is the state of the code that was stored on the social contract. Does that make sense?
Yes. So if I wanted to, let's say I messed up and I overwrote my latest one that was working with something that wasn't working, how would I roll it back would be a question of the day. Obviously, most people wouldn't, but just hypothetically.
So, okay. little bit of a long-winded answer. It's not the best one, but if you are developing on Jutsu AI, which is the web IDE, I know that they do have support where you can actually roll back your changes. You should be able to see the history of your widget, your history, and then you can go through the commits. This one doesn't have other commits, but then you could like click and you could revert your change. But let's say we don't have access to that. What are we actually doing on a lower level? Instead, you're just like looking at the history of the code that was at that block height. And I mean, you're just like copying and pasting, right? It's not like you're ever reverting back to a block height. Instead, you're grabbing the code from a previous block height and you're overriding your current code with the correct one, right?
Gotcha. Yeah, makes sense.
You can also point to a widget at a specific block height and get just that version, and it won't update if they make changes.
Nice.
Yes. If I were to do a widget path at and then the block height, that will lock it at that block height.
Nice.
Which I actually didn't really show, to be honest. So this is how you actually use a widget in your own code. Here, I'm just going to do this really quick. So, for example, let's just show that we're doing it. We've got hello world. Hello world. If you want to use a widget, all you got to do is just special widget key. You put in the source of the path, like where it's stored. So I'll just use the tree one as an example. And then you can pass whatever props that you want this object. So root path, James.near. That's it. Now we have widgets. You can use anybody's widget.
Nice, easy.
Yeah. You can also do something called modules, which is what this is right here. We're exercising modules in this example, but a module is that it's like, so a widget is like it's a hidden iframe that pulls in the code, and it's running, it's interpreting the code, and it manages its own state, and it has its own context. But you can also have modules like this feed module, devs.near /widget/feed, and modules are just like you know, they are modules. They just return an object. So if we look at like the code for it, it looks like the code looks like this. I'm defining a functional component, and then I'm returning it. And then you can use it just like right here. So you need to like initialize it in case it's not available. But I'm blanking on something. So you can just use it. You can use it like this. So these are modules inside of your code. Let's just have it do JSON stringify the post.
Quick question: is there a GitHub repo tutorial for this? And I think it's the one that I've done with Near Builder's Boss Workspace and then Create Boss App that I did just a little bit earlier. But is there something else as well?
Yeah, we have several workshops and other videos. I don't know, James, what would you say?
I would say check out the Boss Workspace if you're just wondering about the development environment and experience, like off-chain using GitHub. If you are, interested in learning how to build something specific, there's a lot of examples, and we're building libraries to help with navigation, so you can find these code blocks, reusable, apps and things like that. And definitely check out the documentation. So you can find that at nearbuilders.org, and the docs.near.org site. It's the BOSS documentation that you're looking for. And I would emphasize the BOSS native APIs. Those are kind of like it's like a tool belt. So you want to master each one of those APIs, like the social API that Elliot mentioned is really important for talking to the social database, or the near social contract. We also have a near API where you can talk to any other contract on near. There's ethers.js, which enables you to talk to any EVM based contracts. And then there's others like the storage API, the fetch API. And those are pretty standard, familiar APIs. But I would just highlight that section of the docs. If you want to, learn about the state API, it's a little bit out of date right now. The documentation is, but we do have pretty much all the React hooks that you would have in a normal React application, like use effect, use state is definitely supported, although it's not in the docs right now. But yeah, that's the cache API. I forgot. But yeah, there's a lot of little bells and whistles, and this is the place to read about them. As far as tutorials, like we're doing daily office hours, and there's lots of examples. We definitely want more self-guided resources for people to learn. And if you're interested in giving feedback on some of the early iterations of those, we'd love to collaborate.
I think that's what like the hackathon's all about. You get people trying that haven't tried anything that you've been working on, so they're coming in a blank slate, and so you learn all the mistakes and how people interpret certain things in the docs and new creative ideas on there that might come about. So it's definitely a struggle, but it's worth it because it's a hackathon. So there's financial incentive too.
Yeah. Bottom line is, let's build together. Reach out. We're happy to support, and we have a bunch of things you can use to get started.
Yeah. I was demonstrating a feed. I was facing an issue, but yeah, so you can just use feeds, import them as modules, and modules are a little bit different than widgets because they you can, so you can't use state inside of a module, but you will remember it. The VM will remember it, so it can actually make loading a whole lot faster. So if you go nearbuilders.org/library, these are all modules that you can use in your own apps. And they're just really simple building blocks. And that's how you use them. Okay. So getting back to where we were. Where were we? Oh yeah, so I wanted to save this routes object. I think it's right here. We had modified it a bit. Now we're going to be saving to a social contract underneath this path, efis.near/thing/routes. And we have this JSON stringified object. So I'm just going to go ahead and save that. I need to sign it, but we just expired this wallet. Fuck. What should I do? Oh, 1 second.
While he's doing that, I'll mention a tutorial in the docs for getting started with ethers.js and a boss component or a widget. Those are the same components and widgets, or just interchangeable terminology, effectively. And yeah, I would check that out if you're interested in building something that uses Ethereum contracts. There's a Lido example that's a little more complex, and there's a beginner hello world tutorial for Ethereum developers. And definitely, check out the other APIs, and you can build anything. Like, it doesn't have to talk to any other contracts. It can just be like a fun project, or like blank slate for you to hack on.
Question. Sorry to cut you off. Question on that. Like for the hackathon, are you looking for tutorial examples as well? Like making a staking contract, like a mid-level website to enter, because we go from Hello World to Lido Finance example. It's a big jump, right? So like, are we looking for something in between
I
for the
think
hackathon?
that would definitely be worth rewarding some way or another. I would say it's eligible because you're helping to abstract the learning curve of both sides of that chain, chain agnostic development experience.
Yes.
So yeah, it's hard to say what is abstraction.
Right. Yeah.
I'm like definitely in the camp of everything is abstraction. But yeah, that's up to the judges.
The hackathon is ongoing right now. It just started on the 8th. On the YouTube link, you can click on the link. It'll take you right into the forum to join the hackathon. If not, I'll look that up right now and post it onto the YouTube forum. But it is happening now to the end of the month.
Cool.
Go for it.
Yeah, sorry. I sorted out my issue. I also just want to like reiterate something actually, because you were talking about overwriting the same key, different commits in history. So I'm about to go. I'm saving data to the contract, and really what I'm doing is I'm just paying to store data on the contract, and I can add a storage deposit so that this modal doesn't come up anymore. It says, oh, you have enough to store. Okay, I'll just use it anyways, as long as you're signing. But the cool thing about this is that means that when you pay for storage, and if you're just like overriding the same thing and not, you're paying for storage on social.near, which is a social contract. You can go to SocialDB. So yeah, near social/socialdb. This is the contract that you're storing in. It's like this concept of a sharded contract. So you have like your own like namespace. That's what I was showing here with the tree. You have like your own. This is your own namespace on the social.near contract, and so you're just paying for storage on that contract.
That's what's one of the cool features about this abstraction hackathon is we're basically hosting websites on the near chain, but you can access it on almost any other chain. Currently, right now, EVM support, but theoretically, any chain. So that's the abstraction part of this whole thing is we're making a website that is decentralized, and theoretically nobody can take it down as long as the chain exists, and like it support every other chain that exists. So the user doesn't even know or care what you're working on. You're just using a service.
And it's
you can use IPFS too. Like you can.
Yeah.
But what's cool about this is that since you're only paying for storage, if you make changes to the code and you're not necessarily adding like storing any more data, it's free. You're just doing the update. Like especially like there's projects, let's say you are storing data on IPFS and you're just storing a reference to that data on the social contract. That means that every single time that you're updating the data on IPFS and you're getting a new CID back and you're updating the reference that's on the social contract, you're not paying anything more. You're using the same amount of storage. I think that's pretty cool. So right now I just published these routes to this thing, and then let's go ahead and make this change that I think. So inside of core, which is where these routes have been defined, instead what we can do to access this data that we're storing on the social contract is we can do like social.get ethis.near/thing/routes. That was the key that we've saved it at. Option to add a block height if you want it to be it locked at a specific point in time, and then final. Or sorry, the block height would go here. You can either do this or you can do final, which just means the most recent version. Let's just do a null check. We're going to parse the data back because we're going to be getting it as like a stringified JSON. And let's stringify it and post it and display it now. Cool. So that's our data that is being stored on the social contract. And now let's just change routes so that rather than it being defined here, now it's just like that. Here we go. I'm going to save this widget. And now as I make changes to it, let's just get rid of everything.
Just while you're working on that, I mean, you don't have to deal with RPC providers. You don't have to really deal with anything, right? You're just uploading it to the site, not worrying about monthlies, not worrying about anything really. It's just kind of already set for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
So I'm just going to remove all the routes, and I'm storing less than I was before. So I don't owe anything right now. And now if I reload this page, I should only see one route. There it is. There we go. Although I just lost the one that I had the editor on.
So as we're coming close to the time, like if somebody wants to dig in, you guys are having weekly workshops. Is that in the near Discord or is that in another location?
We're using Telegram, so you can join the BuildDAO group on Telegram. We're also using the social database. If you want to create a post and use #build, we're going to see it. And we're happy to connect on chain as well. I'll share the link directly to the Telegram, and we're in there. We do like a daily stand up that's open to anyone who is building in the BuildDAO, and we have office hours for abstraction hacks and generally, plus weekly workshops, which we're doing right now, one of them, and looking forward to exploring ways we could collaborate on all of the above. So, education materials included, or, anything you want to contribute.
Oh, Cameron is here. I'm going to add him to the stage as well. Hey, Cameron. Just so another reminder that we also have a thread contest on Twitter as well, with a collaboration with Developer DAO and Near. So for those writers out there that want to like have a good following or just get really in depth about, chain abstraction, there's definitely $1,000 things to win there too, on top of the hackathon as well. I don't know if you had anything to add on that one, Cameron.
Yes. So hey, everybody. We actually are going to be announcing a new bounty today, which is exciting, all about chain signatures. And chain signatures are absolutely new. Like we're going to be giving the first workshop about them next Thursday. But the whole point here is there's a team at a company called Pagoda that has been working on these things to essentially have one account, sign transactions across any chain. And the first workshop, as I said, is going to be happening next week. And the goal for this bounty is to reverse engineer the implementation and write docs about it. So very early, as James and Elliot like to say, like we're all building everything together. Everything is an app and something else, but like this is just a project that can honestly change the entire landscape of the blockchain space. And if done right, you guys can win $2,000 for reverse engineering this implementation and writing docs. And so that will be formally announced on Twitter later today, but I just got formal approval, so I thought I'd come on and let you guys know. So I'm super excited about that. And yeah, going back to what Billy was saying, we're going to have workshops every Thursday for the next couple of weeks. And then Tuesday, James and Elliot, you guys will be leading office hours, and Thursday, but separate times, correct?
Yeah, we're following these up with office hours on Thursdays. So if you want to hang out, if you want to keep talking and building with us, we're around. And then every Tuesday at noon Eastern, 5 p.m. or 17 UTC, we're doing the office hours for abstraction hacks. And every day at that same time, we have an open kind of discussion, like a hangout, or we call it office hours if you want, but it's really just a collaborative zone.
And is there a link to that Telegram somewhere? I think you just sent it out there.
Yep. The one I just shared. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and post that in there.
Yeah, and lastly, sign up to the calendar if you want to get updated on every single one of these events. This is by far the best way to just add it to your calendar. And then all these developer resources and talks and stuff will be in the abstracting.org/manual. So everything is there, and we're here to answer any questions.
Excellent, excellent. 1 second, I was having a problem with there's a little weird stuff happening on the streamer here, so apologies for the technical difficulties on the internet here. It's been doing some weird copy paste stuff here. So I'm going to paste this. I'm just going to hold on to make sure we get that Telegram chat link on there. And a few of the other links that were posted are already on the YouTube video comments. So make sure to sign up if you haven't already. There's still time. There's still opportunity. Again, this is like a really pioneering focus, right, for the general like crypto chain world. It's a horrible way that I said that as I'm thinking on the fly, but like it is something new. Like everybody's like, oh, we're doing the same thing over and over again sometimes, and we're in an echo chamber. This is something really, really new. Like this is exciting of like what is possible that's out here. And you only really need JavaScript, right? Which is really, really nice. Everybody thinks of Near, they think of Rust. You have to be a Rust developer or anything. You saw it today. Everything's based on JavaScript. Modules are being created. You can create modules. There's a lot of opportunity here. So, if you're feeling a little nervous, definitely take on the workshop. I know it's a lot to absorb, especially for newcomers coming in. So, I mean, the groups like doing like all these workshops. At the end of the day, you just come out better as a better developer. So, I mean, up your stack. That's all I have to say about it. Yeah, for sure. I appreciate you guys. Thank you, Liz, James, Cameron. Always a pleasure. Again, next week, same time. We're doing one more workshop. Again, if you have any questions, make sure to tag everybody here. Throw them a follow. Are you guys on Twitter or is it purely Telegram?
So I'm on Twitter, and if you need me on Discord, I'll be in the Developer DAO server, and it's the same username on all three: Telegram, Discord, and Twitter. JWAP, JWAUP, and happy to connect and work with you guys.
Awesome. Any final words before we end the live stream?
No, shared my Twitter too. Happy to. I'm super pumped for this hackathon. I'm happy to hack with anybody that wants to too. We'll be in the office hours. Yeah, we're around. Thanks for watching.
Awesome. Big love for the hat. All right, guys. Thank you so much.
See you.
Peace.